everybody! Claire Fluffle here with the next installment of the Kirby soundtrack rankings. I don't want to waste too much time given my storied history with today's game in question, so let's get the spiel done early. If you triple love this deluxe video, give it a like. Just once, although clicking the like button 3 times gets the same thing done, I guess. And ring that notification bell after subscribing to be notified whenever I upload. Just once, although ringing the bell 3 times. Also, special shout outs to my pup-trins on Patreon, link in the description. Please check it out for nifty perks, including 2-day early access to all of videos, with especially special shout outs to my head-patting, Fluffle fan pup-trins Biohazard, Furiol, Tyke, Jane, and remember, Miss K says, yeah! I love you guys. Alrighty, now with everything said, hi again, I'm Claire, and here's some things you may want to know about me. I play a lot of Kirby, I speedrun, I love outdoor walks in cool weather with a light breeze and blue sky with some white puffy clouds, and wait a minute, I thought I hated Triple Deluxe! It's so low on my ranking list. All I ever do is complain about Hypernova. I even rag on it whenever I bring it up on my stream. Follow me on Twitch, by the way. I love you. Why is it so high on the list? See, my darling viewer, I've never once actually said that I dislike Triple Deluxe, at least as a whole. There's things about it I don't like, and even for the soundtrack, I'll be getting into that bit shortly, but on the whole, I think Triple Deluxe is actually a pretty great game. I've said so in the past, it's just the things I don't like about it really frustrate me, but on the whole, it is such a beloved game, it kind of got morphed into I hate Triple Deluxe. It's also kind of fun to joke about it, so I may have kind of sort of fed into that a little bit, but trust me, it's a great game that I think most people would enjoy a whole lot, especially when it comes to the music. But since I'm the TDX hater or whatever, let's get my issue out of the way first. Yes, issue, singular. It may not sound big, but it certainly is a big issue to me. That being said, what would Claire Fluffle hate about Triple Deluxe? Alright, listen everybody, try not to be surprised, alright? The Hypernova music, it's so bad. No contest, this is the single lamest track in the whole series, and completely goes against the entire point of what Hypernova is trying to do. It's trying to be this big, extravagant mechanic that's used for solving puzzles and comically destroying enemies. Why is the music so tame and so boring? Honestly, to me, it comes off as kind of generic. It's like, why is it this? Why is the Hypernova music this? Super abilities got the music right, and while the Robobot armor also did, it didn't even play the Robobot armor music most of the time. When it did, whoa, you were in for a treat, but the Robobot armor as a mechanic is just so well tuned to Robobot as a game, it just let the regular soundtrack play for the most part. For Triple Deluxe though, what is this? What is this? I'll also admit that I used to make the claim that this game is what started the 2010s Kirby fatigue, even in terms of the music. Its style definitely feels a lot more quote-unquote modern to Kirby than the Superstar-inspired Return to Dreamland, but I don't think this started the fatigue, at least anymore, and for one main reason. Triple Deluxe is the ultimate manifestation of the word good vibes. If you want to vibe, relax, and just have a good time, Triple Deluxe has got your back. Well, I can't say this for certain. If I had to take a guess, if there is one soundtrack in the whole series that the most amount of people listen to outside of the game, I'd put money on it being Triple Deluxe. You can't tell me the game with the Peanut Plains remix like this isn't the perfect example of chilling out, vibing, having a pleasant time. Of course, it isn't just that one. The first track in Lollipop Land, while a bit more upbeat than vibey, still has that effect. Maybe it's because it isn't quite as fast-paced as the other upbeat tracks. Maybe it's some Triple Deluxe magic, I'm not sure, but boy howdy is it very nice. Again, so many examples. The Koo's Forest remix, the Drum Dash tracks, the Hidden Credits theme, basically everything that comes out of Old Odyssey. If we're talking trippier vibes, both of the boss tracks prior to the endgame, I would argue count too. The regular boss theme is simply fantastic, but I gotta mention the mini-boss music specifically. It's super groovy, and the sound makes me think of vibrant colors. I can't quite explain it, probably because I've never been high, but still, that's what my gut says, and I'm gonna go with it. Whether or not it's as exciting as the main boss theme or as calm as the Peanut Plains remix, I feel Triple Deluxe has one of the most therapeutic soundtracks in the series. In general, it's a forerunner for the series in terms of resonance, as I mentioned before, but something about this one hits you in the I feel better now feels. This is the only main game to give us a proper remix of the KSS versions of the arena, which for old heads, that'll make them very happy. On the opposite end, which is probably more so what we're talking about, more subtle story-related beats like Taranza moving on from Sictonia, well, definitely Bittersweet has resonated a lot with fans and solidified Triple Deluxe as an instant classic for a lot of newcomers. And yeah, the music that plays during these cutscenes through power of association, here she goes again, is definitely a big part of that. As for me, I know when the game came out and I got to one of those final bonus stages and that remix of Cookie Country 1 from Return to Dreamland started playing, boy howdy did that feel good. I can't quite explain it, probably because I've never been to therapy, so I don't know what therapeutic feels like, but in that moment, I felt happy. And that is absolutely something that I feel Triple Deluxe, Kirby in general, but Triple Deluxe specifically, is fantastic at. Making you happy. While Return to Dreamland focused big time on recreating that SNES-era platformer feel, and Robobot focused on the grim reality of nature becoming mechanized, and I don't know, Star Allies has a dude making pig noises or something, Triple Deluxe thoroughly, really understands that core Kirby appeal of being really nice. The opening level, Floral Fields, I feel like understands this the most. I'd argue it's number one on the list of Kirby tracks that goes for that feeling of joy. Could also be that the level itself does a lot of really cute things and I'm associating really hard, but I stand by that statement. Triple Deluxe's number one goal is basically to give off feelings of joy until around World 5, where it shifts over to a more intense feeling, and it makes sense, that's a volcano level, and then after that is the endgame, but sprinkled throughout, even those are much cuter tracks than what you would expect. And the less cute tracks that go for that feel-good energy, still bangers, so I'm not gonna complain. For some reason, the main game makes you feel too good. You want to wallow in your misery and self-pity, or at the very least, you want to get hyped in ways that, bizarrely, only Kirby can do. The rest of the game has you covered. Well, I mean, not really drum dash. These remakes are very nice and calm, generally speaking. But Kirby Fighters has got some good action. Not much in terms of remixes, but got you covered still. But for the real excitement, look no further than the arena modes. These are fantastic remixes of the KSS, or KSSU, arena tracks, and despite ranking lower than both of those games, I take Triple Deluxe's arena remixes over either of them any day, especially the True Arena. Nothing against KSSU's version, or anything against KSSU at all, but this version goes in hard. Of course, the regular arena is also very exciting too, and is still one of my favorite tracks in the entire game. Helps out it plays while you're fighting bosses, which takes forever, so you get to hear a lot of it every single time. Sorry. I know, we're talking about the music, not talking about the game's pacing. I just gotta stop ragging on it. It's great music, I love it dearly, but like... Alright, no, we're done. The variety of Triple Deluxe is truly impressive, especially given how calm and positive the vibes of its music generally are. That being said, it definitely made picking a favorite really hard. While there were plenty of contenders, the arena stuff, Moonlight Capital, a lot of Old Odyssey, I didn't talk about that one, but it's really good. Of the day, though, it came down between the Haunted House music, the Pina Plains remix, and, of all things, the cave track. You first hear this one in the second level of the game. It is so easily the best second level music in this series. It's not even close. Why'd they go so hard so soon? Honest, yeah, I prefer that one over Peanut Plains. Come on, we've all heard the Haunted House music before. I'll play it here, but we've all heard this one before. The track itself is called Reflected Laughter, and that certainly fits the bill perfectly, but everyone remembers these haunted house levels because they're so much fun. I'll admit that this isn't my favorite Kirby game by a pretty large margin. I know, big surprise, nobody knew that, but levels like these with music this fun, and it just makes me want to dance. Triple Deluxe really shines with areas like this one. It's so good. But with all of that said, what if you heard somebody who actually really likes Triple Deluxe gush about its music? And what if this person is also somebody whose birthday was the day this video was originally going to be uploaded, but I had a really bad slump and this video is super late? I'm so sorry, oopsie doops. Take it away, Ivory.
Hello, fellas, I'm Ivory. So, I'm gonna go and provide my thoughts on the soundtrack for Kirby Triple Deluxe. It's one of my favorites in the Kirby series. I like how atmospheric some of the tracks kind of feel. Like, for example, Sky at Sunset really feels like a Sky at Sunset. That's one of my favorite tracks in the game, by the way. Cold Odyssey really feels like you're in a blizzard. Mustache really feels like you're just taking a stroll, just a leisurely stroll in a land of sweets. Spinning Jungle, it was good enough that Versus Star Dream even referenced it. Moonlight Capital is great. I don't even think I need to mention like Fatal Blooms and Moonlight. That one's popular for a reason. Yeah, Triple Deluxe has some really good tracks. But like oh yeah, Cave in the Sky. I really like that one too. Like I really like a lot of the stage musics in the game. It really captures the vibe of the area it's made for perfectly. Yeah, those were my thoughts on the Kirby Triple Deluxe soundtrack. I wasn't able to be like all too specific, I guess, but you know, like they're real good.
One last thing that I wanted to mention about this game, something that made me very happy right from the start as an old head, is how this game's soundtrack has a very dream-like quality to it. I talked about this during Kirby's Adventure, but the first two games specifically had this quality to their music that no game afterwards was quite able to recreate. And while Triple Deluxe doesn't fully manage to recreate this, there are a few too many intense tracks, something I can hardly blame it for having, especially when they're as good as they are. When playing through the levels and experiencing the locales as you play the game, it invokes so many memories of the way that Dreamland, and again, especially Adventure, handled things. Even hearing that volcano music be all cool and dubstep invokes feelings of being in a dream that's more intense. Waking up in that cold sweat, but it isn't quite a nightmare. So instead of being all nervous, you just kind of feel like you're ready to go back to bed. It feels kind of nice. In this dream-like state, Old Odyssey, once again, has to be the absolute best in this regard. Although I'm not super crazy about Old Odyssey as a whole, if you would believe it. I adore the music, but the levels are, like, fine. Wild World, that's my jam. Well, the levels, the gameplay is my jam. Anyway, the entire game does an excellent job of drawing you into its wonders and just allowing you to feel like you're in a dream. It's so hard to explain properly. I don't even know if I'm getting the point across right, but whatever. On the note of not being able to fully explain something in a video meant to be about fully explaining things, I'll end it off there. I'm sure this is still way too low of a ranking for many people, and that's fair, but given how I usually talk about this game, I'm just gonna count it as a victory. Plus, it feels nice to be able to talk so positively about Triple Deluxe. I don't like being negative in general, and I've definitely ragged on this game a bit too much in the past. I'll never love it, but it's still a great time. I've got work to be done with other great times though, so back to work I go. Until I see you all again, I've been Claire. Thank you all so much for watching, and oh, yeah, right, oh boy, I'm gonna have some explaining to do tomorrow, huh? How am I not gonna make people upset when I talk about Triple Deluxe, and immediately afterwards say I prefer a different 3DS soundtrack, and that 3DS soundtrack isn't Robobot, but it's the game we're talking about tomorrow. Oh boy.